Count money, man. Stack riches. Try and told him I'm a beast, bud.
What's up, gang? Welcome back to another episode of the GRINDcast. Get ready. It's a new day, and I'm just sitting here wondering why they would focus on hating on M.L.K. Martin Luther King did so much great, right? Got his own day. Everybody knows the positivity and the lives that were changed through this man. Why were they hating on him? Why was there still things that they would find and bring up negative about him? So this came up. I was digging into a book by Kevin Hart. A lot of you may know Kevin Hart is a phenomenal comedian, super successful. His book, to me, has added value to my life. One of the things that came up in that book was he said, when you rise to a certain level of success, you're always going to have things that people say about you or want to put on things that Google will pop up about you that's negative. And this is Kevin Hart saying that. I never understood this, on my come up until, when I start hearing celebrities and comedians talk about it. So he said what to do is, he said, anybody that has done, that's huge, that's done a lot of positive, just Google Will Smith scandal. Google Martin Luther King scandal. Google Mother Teresa scandal. Just put the word scandal next to it and you'll see a bunch of people that wrote negative things, negative articles, hate towards people that have done so much good in this world. And so, I think for some of you that are on the journey and starting to reach certain levels where you'll have certain levels of success, you got to just, and you can't use it as an excuse to not be good. You can't use it as an excuse to not want to get better. You can't use it as an excuse to not be open-minded to people when you're criticized on things that you could do better in areas of your life that you can grow in. Don't use it as an excuse or a cop-out. But if you need a sense of encouragement to let yourself on the come up, or anybody that's going or is already at a certain level of success, just some of the best people that have made the biggest impact in this world, from Jesus Christ to Gandhi. Go ahead and put in Gandhi scandal. If you put their name with scandal at the end of it, there's going to be a bunch of things that pop up negative online about things that they did or things that they said, or this one cheated on their wife, or this one did that. And I'm not going to go into what they said about all those people because they've done so much good in the world and I wasn't there, right? But what I am going to do is I'm right here in the GRINDcast studio with you plugged in on the come up, and I know that you're probably going to have some haters on the way up. And if you don't learn how to process criticism and judgment from other people on the outside, you're going to be paralyzed and go nowhere. If you don't want to be criticized, do nothing, be nothing, go nowhere, and then you won't be criticized. But if you're going to climb to the top of anything, just get ready. You're going to have haters, naysayers, and critics. And it's the judgment of other people that tears people down. It's like the judges and the critics are always tearing people down. Those people, it's like you got to stop wasting your time assessing other people from the sidelines and get on with playing your own game. Like, get in the game. And those of you that are in the game, you can't let judgment of others get to you. In the book I was talking about, Kevin Hart was talking about, he was reading a Rotten Tomatoes review about one of his stand-ups that he did. Now, understand, this is one of the most successful comedians in America, ranked probably up there in history. But he was reading one of the Rotten Tomatoes reviews they had about him, one of his stand-ups, and they called his jokes when he was just getting rolling, they called his jokes annoying outbursts. That's what they said to him. That's what they said about him. those that judge usually can't do what the people that they're judging can do. And you got to understand, those that judge can't do. And those that do usually don't judge. Those that judge can't do, and those that do usually don't judge. It's a difference if you're giving a critique and you have some experience or some professional experience in that area, but you still got to watch haters and naysayers and critics and people that even do have experience. But especially those that have never stepped foot into what you do, those are just naysayers. Like I'm talking about the people that are criticizing the football player that never played football. The people that are criticizing what they would do to this fighter and what this fighter should do that they've never fought. They've never walked a mile in that person's shoes. And so when I was reading a book with Kevin Hart, he was talking about when he got bad reviews, he learned over time to just be so comfortable with it because he was just happy with his level of success, that he had an inner peace about him, that he stopped letting people on the outside get to him. And I think if you're going to have high levels of professional success, you're going to have to be able to block these things out. He was talking about, I know where that level of negativity and hate comes from, because it takes a lot of time to sit there and dissect the person that you don't even really know anything about. The amount of time and the amount of energy that you could spend putting that time and energy into doing something positive. If you put that time and energy into doing something positive, you will be further ahead. And then the other area of judgment is self-judgment. You can't be the person that beats yourself down and be the person that holds yourself back, always judging yourself on what's not perfect, what's not right. The way to grow is that you got to start where you are and be willing to learn and be willing to make mistakes and try not to make the same mistakes over and over again. But if you're waiting for yourself to be perfect, you're going to be waiting for a long time. Most understand in the form of critics and haters and people that pass judgment on you, most people by the law of averages are losing. You understand what I'm saying? Like, when you really think about it, most people by the law of averages are losing. And so it's hard to love when you're losing. It takes a special person to not be a hater when you're not winning. And so what we got to do is we got to be encouraged by people that have already made it and had success and understand. You know, I had somebody tell me before, if they hated Jesus, what do you think they're going to do to you? Some of the coolest people you ever meet, some of the greatest people you ever meet, you'll know that they had haters and naysayers and critics and people that talk badly about them. And I think that stops so many people from greatness. It stops people from greatness because they're like, man, I don't want to do that because I'm afraid of what people are going to say about me if I just be myself and post this on social media, or I do this or I do that. They can't handle the trolls. They can't handle the negative comments. Anybody that's ever done anything positive that blew up, that did something, they're going to have negative people in the comments. They're going to have negative things said about them in the comments. And so if you want to avoid the negative comments, then don't do anything. Don't do anything positive, because you're going to have that no matter what. You know, when we first started and we would have, you know, people question, oh, you know, you got 90% positive, you know, reviews, but what about this one thing, or this person said it's a scam, or this person said, you know, a bad thing, you know, about you, or you got 4.7 stars, but what about these negative things that said it's a pyramid scheme or whatever it is. And it really, really puts things in perspective, because I tried it out when I was reading the book. when you just put scandal next to most popular people's names, presidents, Nobel Peace Prize, people that have influenced the world on positive deeds, positive things that they've done, innovative things that they've done, just scandal. And look at how many negative things come up and what people had to say about those people that I would probably be willing to bet a lot of it, the majority of it, if not all of it, definitely a lot of it is untrue. And the thing about the media sometimes and the public, sometimes is that they read and they listen to whatever somebody, it's easy to influence them because whatever they put on the TV screen, they'll just believe it. Whatever somebody puts on a piece of paper, they'll just believe it because it was written. And I think that's what's dangerous and sad is that people in the world that don't think deeply and think for themselves and start to educate themselves aren't aware of how easily manipulated that they are. And when you look at the news, just tonight, go ahead and watch your 6 o'clock news or watch the news at night and look at how much of that, what percentage of that news would you rank as negative? If you take sports out, what percentage of what you watch would you say would be negative? Now, it can't be that all negative is only happening in your city. All negative is only happening. And so, I don't know what this world's coming to. Well, because that's what you're paying attention to. That's what you're looking at. And whatever you're looking at, I think it was Stalin that said, "You show me the man, I'll show you the crime. You show me the man, I'll find you the crime," I think was the quote by Stalin. Meaning that you just point out any person, I could frame that person out in a negative light somehow. I find something that they do or did or whatever that's wrong to paint a narrative about that person. And so that's why I've learned in life that some of my greatest relationships with people that I respect, I can remember people telling me negative things about those people that were successful before I met them. And then I met them and I realized what an unbelievable person. If I just would have been influenced by other people's judgment of them, I would have cut myself off from really, really good people. And so understand if poor Mother Teresa couldn't pull it off and have no haters, no naysayers, all positive things written about her. If Martin Luther King, the man himself, couldn't have all positive things written about him and all positive things said about him, Jesus Christ couldn't do it. Oprah couldn't do it. What in the world would make you think that I could do it or that you can do it or that we can do it? The only way you can do it is if you don't do anything. So I want to encourage you out there that are doing something to just keep going. Keep pushing. Don't give it too much of your energy. If you give it any energy at all, use it as fuel and motivation and inspiration. But the higher you go, I was talking to a friend of mine, that's a professional fighter, and I'm like, man, imagine these people, they'll fight for 15 years and they'll lose, one fight or two fights. And everybody's in their face taking pictures because they're knocked out. And they're laying there and they're talking about them and there's memes about them and the whole world's watching them lose, laughing at them, talking about them, that they're this or they're that. Mostly by people that would never even step foot into that person's shoes. Never would they acknowledge the 99% of the victories. They would only point out. And if you're paralyzed by that, then you stop because of what everybody else has going on. And I had another super successful friend of mine give me that other one about when you look at the law of averages, most people are just losing. And so it's hard to not be winning and to be encouraging. It's easier to hate. But if people took the hate and spun that around and all that energy and put it into positivity, oh, what a world we would have. But that's why here in our agency, we made our own news station in the agency. And guess what it's called? The Good News. Because my vision of it was really for the news of like, there's so much negativity on the news. I know there's a bunch of positivity in our city. There's a bunch of positivity. What about, imagine if the news only highlighted 80% of the positive on the news and only 20% of the negative instead of the reverse, and said, let's go out and find all the positive happening in our city. All the white people helping the black people, all the black people helping the white people, instead of pointing out the people that are racist. Let's go find the people that are actually coming together and working together. Let's go find the people that are in the communities helping people that nobody gets any shout out for, all the time that they put in, all the positive that's happening, all the positive stories out there, instead of looking at all the negative things, what that would look like. There's tons of stories that we could fill up on the news of positive things going on, but people don't want to hear about the positive. Just try it out. Just go win an award, get a positive write-up article about yourself that you won an award of something, and see how many people call you, and see how many shares, see how many people are looking at it and calling you when that gets posted. I had a friend of mine get into Forbes. I'm talking about from poor to Forbes, in the magazine, Forbes magazine. And he told me that he had one negative thing come out about him that was untrue, that got on the internet. He got more phone calls, not even close, more calls, more talk about the one negative thing than when he was in Forbes. Why is that? Why would that be? Well, don't matter. It is what it is. It is what it is. But also what is that you are in control of your destiny. You are in control of your attitude. Block yourself off from the negative naysayers and be encouraged to go out there and get up, get out and get something. And don't worry about what people are saying on the come up. Okay, especially the boos from the crowd and the spectators and people that aren't right next to you that know you. I just want to encourage you, with that message. So keep doing good, keep being good, keep working hard, and great things are going to come for you. Thanks for joining us on another episode of the GRINDcast. Get ready, it's a new day.